We're going to hit play. And we got to be in the... There we go. Let's see here. My audio level's good. What's your audio level?
Test.
Pretty good. All right, let's rock, dude. So you said you took notes. I took notes. I liked the episode. I was annoyed by several things, but generally enjoyed it overall.
It kind of ended a lot better and saved itself from
some of it started rough.
Dumb things that I came across. Like, this is a nitpicky thing, but a lot of bad lens flare in this episode.
A little too much JJ effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Lens flare's cool. It hides things.
I was wondering, do you want to talk about some of the theories that have come across that maybe we can wipe away now?
Before getting into it? Sure.
A little bit. Because I think they're kind of...
Are these are just ones that are like... are they debunked in this episode, or...
I feel like...
or previous episodes?
Yeah, especially from the last one, where there was one theory going around that Picard was a changeling.
Oh, okay, yeah. You wanted to address that. Please do.
I think that's debunked, because I think the changeling can be like... I don't even know how many there are at this point.
Why would the changelings replace Picard? I don't know. That just didn't make any sense to me as soon as you mentioned it.
Yeah, I've heard that one kicking around. I didn't buy it. There's another one where I heard where the whole fight on the bridge between Riker and Picard was a ruse. And it was like some strategy, but now it appears that it wasn't, because it looks like Riker is like...
Here's the thing. My first note I have about Riker down here is sad Riker, and then a little bit later I noted, alright, and excuse the language, I'm sorry, but I had Riker as a pussy, and then right after that I wrote, oh, wait, this is All Good Things Riker. And so it's literally Jonathan Frakes is like, I'm playing All Good Things Riker from the episode All Good Things, where I was mad at Worf and Deanna was dead and I was all angry. And as soon as I had that realization that he's just playing All Good Things Riker, I was like, okay. Because
wasn't All Good Things Riker like not technically real, because it was a paradoxical time jump?
Well, it was one possibility in the future, and I just see this as Riker being like, oh, see, it's in the future, and I'm sad, grumpy old man Riker. Oh, everything's wrong. My son is dead. I goofed everything up. And so I think that he was like, how am I going to play old man Riker? I'll play him like he was in All Good Things. I've got the gray hair. I literally think he's literally just channeling All Good Things Riker, which I guess, okay. But, generally I was just, man, he's a mopey Riker, or sad Riker,
I didn't like it.
He redeemed himself by the end, mostly, I guess. I don't know. I didn't like the fight between him and Picard, and I didn't like it during the recap either. It made me, I turned it on, and I started the episode. I was watching with my pops tonight, and, it started, my dad's like, isn't this last? Oh, it's a recap. And then by the end of the recap, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that's how it ended. Now I'm angry.
I wrote, for my note on that scenario, the whole thing, I wrote, Riker just giving up, ? What's behind it? And something's up with Riker. But it's so weird that whole...
Well, let's go through some of these notes in sequence here, because if you're ready, any other theories you wanted to debunk from prior episodes?
No, I put maybe Riker as a changeling because of how he was acting.
Right, he wasn't acting like good old Riker.
But it seems like the changeling switches every time.
So I guess like right after the recap, we jumped into like a flashback with a restaurant scene, and Picard retelling stories and being mobbed by these horrible young people that have no respect for any human beings ever. Like, do they not have parents that are like, "Hey, you shouldn't bother people while they're eating"? You know what I mean? It's just such a weird setup and everything. And I was really, and I get it because we will get to where this whole scene goes, and I get it now, and blah blah blah. That said, those cadets were quite quite annoying.
I had a thought on that one too, because, well, like the whole series, I know we don't talk about 1 and 2 anymore, but if you go back to 1 and 2, the only difference, like, the whole time was to diminish Picard and his accomplishments and be like, "You're an idiot, Picard, you're just a dumb old man." And then this one has just been like, every time someone talks to Picard, they're just kind of like all over him.
Oh, he's a legend. He's a legend. Yeah, they got
legend all of a sudden. I thought Picard, I wrote down Picard fought the Herodian.
Dude, that's exactly literally as a subnote on the flashback, I wrote Herodian ? Worf ? Janeway? None of this makes any sense. Did he say Lieutenant Worf? I haven't gone back to look yet, but I could have sworn he said Lieutenant Worf. Hey, I'm like, dude, none of this makes any sense. I think Picard's positronic net lost the circuit. Because none of that made. I was like, wait. And so I didn't pause it or anything like that, but I definitely feel like maybe I should go back and rewatch that, because I was like, did he just say the Herodian? Aren't those like Janeway aliens? And then he like mentions Worf and Janeway, and I'm like, so wait, if he is fighting the Herodian or having diplomacies with them, so that's after Janeway gets back, why is Worf with him? Did he say Lieutenant Worf? Why is it Lieutenant Worf? Even if he said Commander. I know, that's exactly. So none of the timeline on that matches up. And we're literally on my second line of notes here, so I don't know how much we want to spend on that, but I caught that.
A little thing too, like, does that mean the Herodian have made it to the Alpha Quadrant, or
they had their network touching the Beta Quadrant for sure, with an edge on the Alpha Quadrant, because that's how they were able to do message in the bottle.
Oh, that's true.
Their communication network, and that wasn't necessary. They didn't necessarily built it, but they had taken over that and had basically, they were identifying it as their network during that episode. So I imagine that with transwarp and instantaneous beaming, that yes, it's possible the Federation's had to deal with the Herodian on a diplomatic level. But again, the whole Worf thing derails that. So why are they mentioning Worf? If it was Janeway and like Ensign so and so, or like any other character, but the characters that we aren't supposed to be there at that point. Anyways, do you want to move on?
That just seemed real quick.
Okay.
It just seems like one of those dumb little references that these writers will throw in to be like, "Oh, so you like watched the show?"
They have a wheel in the writer's room, and they're like, "All right, I need an alien. Spin it." Herodian. Oh, it's the Herodian that he had diplomacies with, and it was Lieutenant Worf that saved them. And underneath the Herodians, it has a little subnote that says Janeway alien, so like Janeway helped too. We literally just recreated the writer's room for that scene. Congratulations. It's kind of sad. All right, look, man. Come on, man. Let's move past this, because 99% of the people watching this are probably just like, "Whoa, Worf and Picard and Janeway were together with. Whoa, cool."
Nope.
My next note was shining in the nebula, white light. Ooh, that's gonna have something to do with it, which it does. You have anything about that right now? Just keep moving on.
I basically all just said sinking into gravity well.
Yeah, actually, it says my note is sinking into the nebula, white light. So,
sad.
Dude, my note is Picard and Riker, sad Riker. Yeah, dude, everything's sad. And then I have a question mark title card? Like, what? Like, this is the intro? How long is this thing? Like 8 minutes before we got the title card at least?
I don't even know why they bother doing a title card at this point.
I don't know why they do a title card too. Oh, check it out. Leo tuned in and is watching. We actually do have a live viewer. We've had 4 live viewers so far, actually. So that's cool. And one person's actually left a comment. So thanks for tuning in, whoever's watching.
What's the comment?
A wave.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too.
So,
all right. So yeah, title card is where we're at.
So everyone's all sad and freaking out. I want to say like the Shaw and Seven banter is quite awesome.
So my note was 7 dash because it cuts back and she's searching for the changeling, and I'm like, man, why aren't you doing a phaser sweep? Because they probably don't have the effects budget for it. But she should be going in there and doing a phaser sweep. Because she's like opening stuff. Well, it's back to Cisco days. So that should be number 1 implementation, where she's walking into a room looking for changelings is like, boop, 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 bzzz. Nope, no changelings in here. Let me check the closet. Bzzz. Because, as we know, changelings can be furniture, etc. So she did. She found the dead body, the poor transporter chief. I feel like we've seen that guy in a couple episodes. You know, they were like, oh, you know, we had to pay him for a couple. Might as well make him a minor character before we off him. You know, they broke normal convention, made it a orange shirt instead of the green shirt. You know, or the gold instead of the.
Is he the chief engineer? Because later on, they don't have a chief engineer, which would come in very handy. Is he the chief engineer?
They identified him as their transporter chief.
Okay.
So.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I like their back and forth over the goo people.
Yeah, and then and I think he tells her to, or no, because she's talking to Riker, and he tells her to keep it quiet. We get a little of Picard and Crusher, but Jack Crusher, you know, right, talking in sickbay, and then it's Seven and Shaw. And I'm with you. I actually really liked it. I like Shaw a lot. I kind of keep rooting for him when they like took him down later in the episode to do the cells. I was like, please don't kill Shaw. And then he like foreshadowed it, and I was like, okay, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But Riker starts recording a message, and my question is that really an essential use of power, Riker? Because didn't he just shut down all the essential powers? I know.
We'll get to that in a second.
I know, because the next note is holodeck essential, gigantic question marks everywhere, and then the little subnote is explanation so dumb. Moriarty foreshadowing. Is this how we're gonna? What are we gonna do with Moriarty? Too much holodeck. There's already with this, and then knowing where there's Moriarty at some point. There's too much holodeck in this season for me already. I'm sorry.
I mean, agreed. And the explanation was an independent power source because
so that everybody can go there to die.
Yeah. When the crew is sad, they can all go have fun. I thought the whole
can orgy party out to death while they suffocate. I know. Come on, bro, dude.
Independent. Then you should take all that independent.
I was like, why don't you have the independent power and transfer that over to like the system so that you can get a little boost to get going? And then, come on.
If you're
Picard even mentions having to transfer power in the shuttle to be able to do their maneuver. I'm like, why aren't you transferring holodeck power already? There's enough power in there for you motherfuckers to be drinking fake fake photon booze, and like hanging out.
The whole point of Starfleet is to go down with the bitter end. You don't just wait around to die.
Yeah, who are all these officers like? Oh, I'm gonna go down and serve me, cry with my friends and die, guys.
You play out the scenario till there's nothing left. And then you blow up the ship.
You're just like, hey guys, it sucks.
You don't wait.
We're Starfleet though. This is why we went to the Academy. We knew that we were going into deep space, and sometimes starships everybody dies. It's unfortunate, but no. Everybody's like, I'm gonna go cry on the holodeck with my homies and get fake drunk.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, so yeah, explanation so dumb. My next note though was cannabis. Shaw likes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because he just made a little comment, but you know me, I was like, oh, okay, I approve.
But I was like, where's Raffi when you need her? She'd be like, oh, let me pull one out right now.
Raffi, dude, Raffi can't handle it. Cannabis is nothing for Raffi. Raffi needs the real stuff. She'd be like, you got any of that eye meth?
She'd have one. She'd have one ready to go.
You know.
But then we jump to I wrote WTF is the changeling shit inside that chick.
I wrote evil changeling. So you'll have to remind me. Changeling inside of chick? Oh, was it just
cut her hand off?
Oh, okay, yeah. So she's a changeling. I'm like, that's her weird communication. I was like, it's weird it's a weird excuse to bring some like body torture and body horror elements into Star Trek. But whatever. All right, you're gonna do that.
Is she a changeling though?
Yeah, she's a changeling. That's why I assumed that meant. I don't know. She cut her hand off and it turned into a floating communication head that gave her orders to go kill herself.
That was weird.
She didn't want to, but. So it sounds like it's this weird sect of the changelings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to know more. I like the changelings as bad guys again. So if they're not part of the Great Link, they're, you know, I don't know, man. Whatever.
Maybe Odo like exiled them from the Great Link or something.
Maybe.
You know, because he's technically still around, it sounds like, in this universe. The actor has sadly passed away, but
right, yeah, he's still there. He's working with Worf. He gave him the heads up.
So I don't know. That was a bizarre scene. My friend, we were talking back and forth about it, and he said that villain has like Snoke vibes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm like, what is this? And then the voice was like all super menacing. I thought that was overkill.
Where do you go, Luke? Kill yourself. Whatever. It's an evil voice, bro. I'm okay with evil voice. I'm okay with evil, shapeless, changeling voice.
Yeah, but the main changeling villain in DS9 was like scary as hell, and she wasn't even. You're not scary.
Yeah. Well, my next note was they do another flashback. This time it was Picard and Jack Crusher, and I guess that's when he's telling stories. I don't think that's when he reveals that Crusher was there, right? I think that's just him telling more stories, like telling the cadets about the most harrowing situation I was ever in with Jack Crusher, and he saved me in my shuttle when we were up to no good. Ho ho, stealing shuttles again. Oh, I'm always stealing shuttles. Ho ho.
And then Jack Crusher told his story, and it like
that was later on. That was later on when he's like it reveals he's like he was at the bar too.
Is that a different scene?
That was like later on, but yeah, we can talk about that. I was like, oh, these cadets are annoying, but when it revealed that, I was like, okay, so Jack did try and meet his dad, and Picard was like, oh, Starfleet's the only family I need.
Well, let's do that later. Let's go on.
Yeah, we'll get to it. All right, so my note next is Seven found the changeling pretty easy.
Yeah.
She's just walking down the hall, and she's like, oh man, I gotta go scan this. Was she walking down all the halls, and as soon as she saw anybody, she's like, yo, Biolab, I need to scan this real quick. Because that's the only way that makes sense that it actually works. Because otherwise, it's quite the contrivance. That she just is like, I mean, the guy's like, oh, let me kill that one. Now, I think that's the first... So we've now had 2 confirmed kills, but neither of them are Picard or Riker's fault because the changeling was already there. So you see how they've written it, so there's no weight to those deaths falling on our legends for taking over the ship, right? So that's intentional for sure. They don't want those, they don't want that kind of to hang on those guys. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be worth it then. But so yeah, I guess 3 deaths because the changeling probably killed whoever he was impersonating too.
Yeah, that was I mean the transporter guy.
Transporter guy, the chick he shoots who's walking in front of him, and then the person he was impersonating.
Right.
So that's 3 down. Yeah.
At least.
Yep. And but I like the fight. I like the little shootout, you know, and the changeling effect of it getting away was better and closer to classic effects than it has been. They're still staying away from a lot of the morphing, though, that we would have seen in Deep Space Nine. They can't do it right.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Why did she just watch it slide away though?
I would have been like shooting him.
Like, she shot him, and then the guy like fell against the bulkhead, and she could have just blasted him.
I don't know.
We needed a sample.
Story reasons. So the next note I had. Whatever.
There's more than one.
I don't know. I think there might be because it would be. It seems like they need more threats to continue on. We'll see. The next note was Jack and Picard, Picard's namesake, and Picard's F-bomb. Ooh.
I wrote that too. I'm like, this is dumb.
I liked that they addressed it because both you and I have previously been like, why the hell is Beverly naming her son, Picard's son, after her ex-husband? That's weird. And okay, Picard's like, I would have named you after Jack too. Okay, cool, fine. I'm glad that at least they addressed it. Okay, you know. And like I said, my note is, oh, cool. Picard dropped an F-bomb. Ooh, he's not very good at dropping F-bombs, Patrick Stewart. It it wasn't natural. It definitely sounded out of place. I'm sorry.
That scene, that when Jack is like telling his story, like Picard goes into some fugue state, and like Jack's story like trails off. That was bizarre. Yeah,
well, it's because I didn't even make a note of it, but my editor's side was like, oh, I was like going to write the note. God, they couldn't even write a story for Jack, so they just faded out. That was going to be my editor's note, was how lazy are they that they can't even give him one interesting story for 1 second. So I'll put, that's my comment there. And then Shaw shows up all fucking crazy, shell-shocked. Wow. Like, what? I liked it. Shaw going overboard. He had fair enough. That was a pretty intense experience. Now, for me, as someone who already saw Picard and Sisko go back and forth, I don't need that again. But I guarantee you there are a lot of people that never saw that episode and have never seen the interaction of Sisko and Picard. And so, while it's old hat to us, I imagine that could be interesting to a lot of new people. At least it was different. Shaw's like not the captain of the ship. He was just in engineering, and he got into a really crappy situation now. Questions like, Starfleet's usually supposed to have lifeboats. Okay, the Borg zapped a whole bunch, whatever. Overall, he was a little over dramatic, but I get it, and for the most part, it was an interesting development I was not expecting, honestly.
I liked the concept, but I had one major problem with it. This goes back to the theme of all these new Star Trek shows again, where captains are not professional anymore, and the entire command structure is a complete and utter shit show.
Like he should have dropped that like in the ready room.
When Riker and Picard come on board the first time, you should have dropped it there.
In private.
Like, not in private, not in front of your crew.
Your dying crew who are all there. Yeah, they're all at the holodeck like, oh, we're going to die. And then your captain comes in. He did know that he was like, I'm sorry. I don't remember what he said, but at some point I replaced charm with whatever. I don't know. But, it was over the top, and you're right. It was not appropriate for a captain, Well,
but do you feel like the captains on new Star Trek are all just unprofessional assholes?
Well, I think that a lot of them have been written to be disliked intentionally. Star Trek Discovery, what was Lorca? He's the bad guy, and definitely written to be disliked. And frequently, like we've had Star Trek captains are you can't do this, and they've had to fight against or Section 31 has been done to death. So we've seen a lot of bad Starfleet for a while now, and no one, dude. I don't think any classic of the characters fans really like bad Starfleet. I know I'm sick of bad Starfleet. I like Section 31 in doses. I like the Section 31 episodes in Deep Space Nine, but there's like 3 of them. It's not the entire like crux of or focus of the of 2 or 3 seasons of a series. You know what I mean? And it was supposed to be like really out of the way, whereas like in recently Section 31's like, oh, we got all, like armies of ships and like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's over. The evil Starfleet is over the top, and I think we've talked about that before. It doesn't do anything for me. I was going to say, yeah, continue, please.
And then just kind of the same theme throughout. I wrote down, everyone is giving up. What the hell? And then, what happened to exhausting every option until it fails? And then when Picard was talking about the thing with the shuttlecraft, I'm like, well, that's what they're gonna do
with the energy transfer or whatever, or shuttles.
Yeah.
Or I was waiting for it. And here's the thing: my notes go from Shaw survived Wolf 359 to Dr. Crusher - energy waves - contractions. So it was fairly quick that they moved from that into, all right, well, what is this? And I was like, it's obviously going to have something. I was thinking, and I think we may have even said in the last episode that the nebula is alive because they said the biosigns and this and that, and they're, you know what I mean? It's been hinted at, so it's not a big surprise. My next note is the Riker is a pussy. And then the sub dash, it's Riker from All Good Things.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Riker on the bridge, and he's like telling everybody, you know, oh, we gotta, you know, pull to do this together. And the rest of my notes on this section here are just crazy because shit happened real quick. It says Seven and Picard go to Shaw, then we're in the med bay, and then Seven to Riker. And then it's time for everybody to go, and Picard is on the con. And so real quick, within a very short period, we went from everybody giving up and Shaw telling Picard his horror story, and then Jack leaving with Picard, to them going and like talking to Beverly, and then it just kind of steamrolled into like, let's get out of here. And then my next note is, thank God Seven saved Shaw. And that was actually good, and it was, there was actually, because they foreshadowed it like TV writers do, which, so we knew it was coming, oh, surprise, you know, and all this, so it's not really surprise. But what they did that was a little bit more clever was they used the Forge, because they had that element between her and Seven previously where she had refused orders and come down to talk to her, you know what I mean? But as an audience, it also didn't work, because why would they ever send LaForge from the con in the middle of navigating? And so it set it up as an interesting little ploy, because there is a little bit of like, well, LaForge has like come down and like checked and said, but she wouldn't leave the con. So I think as the viewer, it's not really there. But overall, it was a good scene, I thought, and I'm glad that Seven saved Shaw, and I like the effects. I like seeing the outside of a ship with the action matching, and I like seeing the nacelles and the little details like that we didn't ever get with the classic shows, because it would have cost too much to do that kind of stuff. We didn't get that stuff until Voyager. Voyager is the first show that really kind of showed us a lot of the external little gimmicky things, like the deploying of the landing gears, or when they would land. And it was minimal on Voyager, but they did it because they did use computer graphics. Whereas like Enterprise definitely did it with the hooks and the grapplers and everything, you know, and the torpedoes. Enterprise, because it was CG, did a lot more on the exterior shots. And so actually seeing some more modern Federation from the eras I like, seeing those ships with those details and that action is really cool to me. That's something I really do like. You know what I mean? My note on this section is actually nice escape. I like the scene. I thought it was well done. It's classic kind of, yeah, you know, I liked it.
I wrote from this whole section, my note was, who the hell is actually in control of the ship? Because you've got two captains running around, like, giving separate orders, and then you have, like, the fill-in captain putting Picard in charge, and then you have the real captain doing other. I'm like, who's actually running this damn
Well,
thing? And then,
it's getting done, Tom. Things are getting done.
I know, but it's just like,
I like how they actually. I was thinking the same thing. Like, why isn't Shaw's up and around? Why is he around? And I like that they tied his Saab 359 story. We should just call Wolf 359 Saab 359 from now on because everybody's sad. But his story, I like how they tied that into an explanation for why they needed him elsewhere. Because I think they say, oh, these new kids won't know how to dismantle some 20-year-old ship. And so I'm like, how's the Titan's not that old? But whatever. Okay, cool. I liked it.
It's a refit, brand new ship, though.
And it's super refitted. But whatever. We'll roll with it. And it doesn't look like it. Whatever. Okay.
What do you think's the captain when they get out, when they're like...
Everything's done. It's got to go back to Shaw, right?
It's got to.
All right. It goes life support down. So here's the thing. Oh no, life support's down. They're all like, and here's the thing. I won't even mention, but they all do gasp like, oh, when the power comes back up, right? So like, when it turned off, they all instantly couldn't breathe anymore. Like, they don't have any oxygen that they can breathe in the cabins that they're all in for at least a minute. But that's writing for you. Oh, it's off. They're all dead now. You know what I mean? So that was a note I made. And then my next note is Riker bowls a strike. And that was awesome. And I'm totally okay with him grabbing onto an asteroid with the tractor beam and cutting it, because he did actually cut it and maneuver, and it looked awesome. I'm sorry, but I like that.
Super cool. I like that.
I did like that. And that was very much Riker. That was a totally Riker thing to do. Like, oh yeah, I'll just grab that fucking rock and throw it right there. Perfect.
It was kind of poetic justice, because remember they threw the Shrike through Crusher's ship
at them. Yeah, and that's why I was like, dude, it's Riker adjusting the tactic. You know what I mean? And for me, that was almost like the moment real Riker returned, and I feel like it's almost even written like that, because that was a really good Riker scene. And then he comes back, and the next note is Nebula births a bunch of babies, the little jellyfish babies, and I was wondering if they were gonna just warp and like splatter them all. And they took the time to show them coming out of the cloud before going to warp. So very nice of them. They actually did show the transition out. Now, what's going to happen when the Shriek gets power in an hour and is like, what the hell is all this? Ugh, poor baby. Yeah, are we going to see that warp away? Splat.
Or the babies are going to like rip the Shrike apart.
Dude. All right, so real quick before we get in my last couple notes here, TK Thornkiller did say, I don't know, an evil voice after chopping your hand off and getting orders just sounds bizarre as F. And then he followed that up with, when it came to swearing, didn't Patrick Stewart actually become opposed to swearing at first until he was convinced that the word is changing or something? I don't know, I haven't seen that interview. But it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, it's more common vernacular now, which is fine too, because I'll be honest, man, like with my son growing up, my ex and I, we always ran blue streaks, and we never like censored each other, and we just told him like, dude, cussing is gonna offend some people and you shouldn't do it in front of people. And we drop a lot of foul words that might offend people in just our normal everyday conversation, you know what I mean, in casual conversation. And thankfully my son is actually fairly respectful and doesn't drop a lot of F-bombs, at least not when I'm around. I'm sure he's terrible online. But yeah, so I can see an interview from Patrick Stewart saying something like that. Now is we get a flash.
English
I'm French, but I speak with an English accent. You know, flashback, and then a dash. Jack was there, so that's our last flashback. I actually, to me, I thought it was a kind of an interesting twist. And if that had been the only time that we got them, now that they're together and they can resolve it, I'm okay with it. But if that had been left like that for a while, I would have been very upset and unhappy about it. But Jack is like an idiot. He's 15 years old or whatever at that point, or 18 or whatever. He should have, I don't know. It wasn't the best scene. It wasn't the worst scene. I thought it made the flashbacks more interesting.
I've got a point on that.
Because he did get to hear all these cool stories about his dad. And you got to see the perspective of all these people worshiping him. So that, there was he was exposed to that in some level. So, I don't know.
The thing is, the whole point of that is, Jean-Luc Picard had no idea this person existed.
No.
So how would he know that's his son? And his son didn't know that Picard didn't know he existed. And so why is Jack...
Well, I think he did know that he didn't know. I think Jack knew that Picard had no idea he existed.
Then why'd he get all upset? He should
because he was sad. He went to go meet his dad, and his dad's like, I don't need any family. I just have Starfleet. And his
Why are we still blaming Picard for not knowing his son existed? It was all
Dude,
Crusher's
I
dad.
know. See, this is... I'm going to say, all of this is just Crusher is bad. Because all of this negativity between father and son for 20 years and never knowing each other was a weird decision by Crusher. It's a weird decision. She made her decision and explained it, and it's weird and dumb, and I don't get it, and I don't like it. Maybe the ladies are can totally relate to being a room, but again, that doesn't seem like my Crusher. My Crusher seems like, yo, I'm Starfleet, yo. She already lost her husband and her son, and she's still an officer. You know what I mean? She's like a lifer, And so it doesn't ring true to me. And this all comes back to that. And it's for me, at least they're getting past it. And now, Jack knows it's not Picard's fault that he wasn't around. He's not oh, you were never there for me. He could have been there for him. You know what I mean? Beverly told him to go meet him, and Beverly should have been here's your dad a long time ago, and it's really weird she didn't. I'll stop.
The way they're playing it makes it seem like Jack still harbors resentment against Picard for not knowing he existed, when how would he even know he existed?
Yeah.
That just seems so ridiculous.
Well, he did as a child, and I feel like when he was seeing it and Picard was realizing that he did come to meet him at the bar, because the scene after it, they're having a moment, and it was well done. And so...
He sees it.
And so I would have been, if he was still resentful as dad, I would. But there's the healing process is happening there.
No, but the healing process.
It's all bad Beverly, bro. They ruined.
But they're making it sound like, to me, they're making it feel like Jean-Luc was neglecting Jack in this scene when he had no effing clue who this kid was.
Well,
and Jack,
it's
runs away he was spurned because Jean-Luc said this, and they made it sound like he said it to him in person because... I think that I get that, but I don't think that scene did anything except make me more angry at Beverly and just be this. You could have avoided this. It angered me too.
Next scene we had was Riker and Troy, which was, again, it's Riker coming back to his own. I don't like that he got all sad and mopey and emo, but whatever. At least he's I had that moment and I'm back. I'm Riker again. Yay. And Troy's happy.
If this is the only Troy we get, I'm fine with that.
I'm trying to... I feel like we've seen more of her in previews. Because what is she... We've seen the preview where she's I sense fear or something. Right? What's the line you were making fun of?
Some bullshit like
so
that.
We haven't seen that yet, so I think we do have more Troy yet to come. My next note was Admiral's Log. Very great. And a nice little rack up, and I'm oh, it's kind of feels like the end of the series. We still got some episodes. I feel like there's still probably some changelings out there.
Retired Admiral's Log.
And then you get Jack sitting there, and you get that weird vein, which we've seen one other time. I think it was with him having a flashback or scene or whatever. And then, the Red Angel, there's the red door.
When he was in the, it was the last episode when he was in the ER or the sick bay, and he was, dying.
So the changelings want him, and he's having some kind of weird flashes of what looks like a link or a changeling creepy vine thing, right? I think we can agree that's supposed to be like changeling goo, right?
I had someone, when I was texting, watching this episode with me, say that, what if that's like the Red Angel?
Dude, I saw it and I said,
I'm like,
it's...
no!
my note is, because I'm like, well, it's hearkening to the Red Angel. Obviously, I called it Jack's Red Door. Jack's got a red door. What's behind Jack's red door? What's inside the red door, Tom?
If they do a Discovery tie-in, I am hating the show for all of
Can I use googly eyes yet, or is this episode still regular eyes?
This is a regular-eyed one. It redeemed itself. There were some dumb things.
In other words, it was pretty good. I liked it. I told my dad after watching it, I was like, man, I actually enjoyed it. There's enough really Star Trek-y stuff in it I like. I like Shaw. I like Shaw a lot, actually. He's growing on me.
Dude, I'm still unclear as to who this villain is.
The Changelings.
Yeah, but why is she all like...
They need Jack Crusher.
I want her more. And
she's a changeling. There's nothing else to know.
But I want to know, like, they gotta have like some breadcrumbs.
We will find. Hopefully, we find something, and more than just rogue element of the changelings. Why are the rogue element of the changelings obsessed with Jack Crusher? Is it because he's related to Picard? Did they even know he was related to Picard? How would they even know that? So I feel like they're not after Jack because of Picard. I feel like they're after Jack because of Jack. And we're seeing that with his red door and his weird changeling goo flashbacks.
If you're gonna have a changeling like scenario, when was Picard or these people any involved with the changelings? Wouldn't like Kira be more involved with the changelings?
Yes.
Like, why were they going after Picard? Like, apparently during the Dominion War, the Enterprise was like dicking around. Like, they weren't even involved.
Did you ever read the Dominion War novels?
No, aren't those non-canon anyway?
Well, it's B canon, so yeah, they're not really canon, but they were okay. There was a 4-novel series, and I was actually like pretty hyped to read it because I was like, oh, the Enterprise. And if I remember correctly, it was like one book was like this Enterprise, and the next was the Defiant, and the next was the Enterprise, and the next was the Defiant, and with the crews, respectively, kind of interacting, And if I remember correctly, it didn't really have much to do with the Dominion at all. They had, got trapped, and it didn't have anything to do with Jemadar, but I think it's because they couldn't delve into actual actual canon at that time and stuff because the show was still on. But they were okay. I don't know. I like the changelings. I like enough about what we've been seeing, and the things that I don't like and haven't enjoyed. I'm like, well, it's not there compared to what they've already done to this series. It's nothing. So whatever.
We didn't get any rats.
Oh man, no Worf though.
But no Worf, I guess that's a trade-off.
Yeah, I'm happy that we didn't have Raffi, but I'm sad we didn't have Worf.
At least we didn't ever hear Raffi whine about something.
I need more iMeth.
And then I'm like, so the next episode would presumably have to be like a full-on like Raffi Worf episode.
Maybe.
They have to or half and half with them. Because they gotta throw in lore at some point here, right?
I saw a video where someone was like, "Who is this lore? B4 question mark?" So I don't know, but Geordi says it's lore. I think it's lore.
Do you think that the Shrike is carrying lore?
No.
We can't destroy the cargo.
Well, the cargo, I think, was that weapon that I don't know. And did they jettison something? I didn't see it. I may have to go back. But while we were watching and they turned around to go back, it looked like something flew at the camera.
I didn't notice that.
It's something totally, they turned to fly around and something goes like this real fast and it looked like it had writing on it. And it was right after she had said secure the gravity whatever, and I'm wondering if that was supposed to be like them injecting that gravity weapon or whatever, so maybe they don't have that at the moment because it was dangerous. And if that's the case, was that the cargo? Or is it lore? Or, yeah, I don't know where we're going to go with that, but I don't know. I actually, for being a little grumpy after the recap at the start of this episode, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I came around. The ending paid off for all the dumb, weird holodeck nonsense.
Yeah.
And the crew just started giving up on life.
And Shaw being over dramatic and sad about Wolf 359, he pulled it back real quick by saving everybody by kicking butt in engineering with 7 and playing the role of like the patsy ready to get he was bait and he knew it. And he did good.
Do you think going forward, do you think we're done with the Titan now?
I don't know. No.
Is that going to be the primary ship?
No, I think that they spent so much money on the set for building the bridge of the Titan that we're on the Titan for the whole season. That's the main set.
I'm not
complaining either. I would be bummed out. They're like, all right, time to go into the shuttle. We're going off. And it's like, oh, we just left the ship? We're taking the runabout. Yeah.
With how this series goes, they'd spend the next 6 episodes on Earth.
Dude, don't even jinx it, bro. Man, that's not even. That's not even funny to joke about. It's not funny to joke about.
This show does have a history of going down the hill really fast.
Usually on the turn of an episode, it's usually like that.
I mean, it could. You never know.
You know.
But it's. I feel like overall, I mean, it's not the greatest, but I'm not as negative about this season as I thought I was going to be.
No, I was prepared for it to be pretty bad, and it's actually been pretty good. And like I said, if we are getting this quality of Trek the whole time, I probably would have been enjoying it a lot more.
And we did have a comment I kind of wanted to respond to a little bit.
I know I've been meaning to respond. I've been too busy at work. I promise to respond to comments more frequently. Sorry, guys.
I mean, it said this show sucks. It's nostalgia bait. Went off on this whole thing on Kurtzman, which I agree. Kurtzman sucks. And it is nostalgia bait, but the way they're doing it seems a lot more coherent than what they've done in the past. I
think I told my dad that I was like, they're just throwing member berries at us. I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. But I like my member berries. I'm enjoying all my Star Trek member berries. Dude, all right, here's the thing. We haven't had real proper Star Trek, in my opinion, since Voyager. Enterprise was a departure from and it was like going to the past, and we're going to show like these mechanical things, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? And now Enterprise, compared to what we've gotten in the preceding time, is like, Enterprise is actually pretty good, it's like Enterprise is Star Trek, but like we haven't had what the Star Trek I really like, the show that I fell in love with, the show that I pay money to watch since Voyager, bro. You know what I mean? Like we haven't had a Star Trek that I am like, dude, I'm gonna tune in every week. And honestly, I think it was Picard. You and I even like skipped an episode and came back and did a double after a few. And dude, I don't want to miss any, man. You hit me up tonight and you're like, dude, we're doing Star Trek. And I was like, it's Thursday? I was like, I thought it was Wednesday. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like totally like not prepared. But yes, I do want to do it. And no, I don't want to miss it. So.
I haven't felt that all the way in a long time either. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's great.
I'm not saying it excuses what we've had over the last decade.
It's pretty good.
For bad Star Trek, it's good. Yeah. It's at the top of the tier, by far. And it might even be edging into pretty good Star Trek territory. I like it, man.
Better than whatever Discovery is now, and then I don't care about Strange New Worlds.
I watched a couple episodes and then I haven't. I do like
Not-
Star Trek Prodigy. All right, for a kids show, which is cool because it can get kids into Star Trek, which will help build the future of the brand, which I
Are
like.
kids watching it though? You think?
I watch a little bit with my niece, and that. All right, so my niece is into Daniel Tiger. She's obsessed, and she wants to go to that all the time. I made her put a Star Trek episode on. The ship came in and went like that, and she goes, "Whoa!" And then a second later, it comes back with the logo and goes, and she's like, "Whoa!" And then she's like, "More Daniel Tiger," but she did go, "Whoa!" So we have watched a little of that. I also like Lower Decks. I haven't finished watching it. I've only watched most of the first season, and I haven't watched all of Prodigy. It's funny. I told my guy at the comic shop. I was like, dude, because he's a big Star Trek fan. I've been buying comics from him for 30 years. He's been working at Mile High Comics, and we were talking, and oh man, I totally lost my train of thought there. But what was it we were talking about? You pick up for a minute. I'm going to try and remember here for a second. Close it out with your final thoughts.
Like I said, I think it's decent. It's not great, but it's good. I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to see how Geordi comes back. I want to see Lorb come back. I want to see...
We have good things on the horizon, in other words.
I want to see if there's any more cameos. Like, are we going to get a Janeway cameo?
Right?
They've name-dropped her twice now.
That counts. Now, here's the thing. I think Kate Mulgrew, I think she's probably not super... I don't know if she's, like, eager to reprise the role. She definitely did for Prodigy. She did all the voice acting. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, she doesn't have to appear, and I don't know how well Time has. I haven't seen recent pictures of her, but, maybe Time hasn't been so kind. So maybe there's that. I remember what I was going to say. I had mentioned to my comic guy if my buddy was watching Prodigy, and he said, "Oh yeah, I liked it all right." And I was like, "How?" And somehow we got to the point where he had mentioned, he's like, "Oh yeah, it was like 8 episodes." And I was like, "Dude, it's like 18 or 20 episodes or 22 episodes." And he went back and he's like, "Oh, there's a lot more I didn't even know about." And so Prodigy is like a full like 22 episode season, I think. And I'm pretty sure they like end up syncing up with the Federation proper at the end of the season. So I'm going to continue to watch Prodigy. I'm going to finish up Lower Decks, and I'm going to enjoy season 3 of Picard so far. I'm enjoying it, man. Give me more changelings. Give me more member berries, baby. I love Star Trek. I want more classic, good Star Trek. And I'm sorry if that, is whatever, but that's what I want, man.
At least we don't have any more Romulans with Picard. That got boring.
TK says he's not a big fan of Lower Decks. Which I know you're not a big fan of it either, right?
I only watched the one episode.
Maybe give it a shot sometime. It has some nice classic, like, TNG era, Voyager era, DS9 era, like, it actually does have some deep cuts to the old shows. So,
yeah, I give it a whirl.
But on that note, you want to wind her down?
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, either do I, man. I enjoy talking with you all the time. I enjoy watching some Star Trek. Plan is after Picard, hopefully we'll keep doing short treks where maybe we'll do some just classic episodes and talk about what we like. So, in the meantime, I've got a bunch of videos I might do. I actually have a awesome video from the captain, Star Trek 101 on 7 of 9, which we will be putting up. What, you want to do it tomorrow since we did this tonight?
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll put that up tomorrow, and I'll try and get a unboxing video done this week too. I just got a brand new camera. Check this out. I'll show this off real quick. I believe it is 4K, so it should give me a lot better camera feed on doing unboxings and openings. So I'm going to set that up tomorrow morning, and hopefully we'll do some Star Trek unboxings because I got a stack. It is the Caesar. Yep, I've got 2 of them now. I'm a big fan.
I have one. I have the Halo webcam, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Cool.
And then my other channel, Everything Has History, is kind of going crazy right now.
Yeah, your shorts are blowing up.
Doing daily shorts, kind of a what on this day kind of thing. So yeah, check out Everything Has History.
Awesome. All right. Well, Tom, man, nice seeing you, bro. Good talking Star Trek. I'll see you. I'll talk to you soon. Here, we'll do another episode next week.
All right.
Everybody tuned in. Thanks for watching. TK, thanks for dropping some comments, man. Everybody, take it easy. Let's go to the outro.